Today, we're going to talk about the 5 stages of recognizing that you're a narcissist. Before we jump in, make sure you subscribe, like, comment, questions, concerns, things that are working, things that aren't working. I'd love to interact with you guys in the comments, so drop some comments below. The first stage of realizing you're a narcissist, denial. The second stage, Googling, am I a narcissist? And deciding you're too special to fit the stereotype. All right, we're going to dive into the 5 stages of realizing and discovering that you're a narcissist, at least the ones I went through. And I thought it'd be a fun journey to understand, how you go from living your whole life not even realizing you're a narcissist to suddenly discovering that that's the case. So stage 1, absolute denial. So when my mentor first suggested to me to look into narcissism, to read about it and learn about it, because she thought it might be useful and I might, see some self-reflection in there. I was like, me? No way, a narcissist. I'm way too self-aware for that. Oh, wait, is thinking that I'm too self-aware a sign that I'm a narcissist? Stage 2, selective recognition. So at first, I was like, well, maybe I have some narcissistic traits, but I'm not a narcissist. But like the good things, that they don't get caught up in all that emotional, drama that I see a lot of people get caught up in and things like that. But full on narcissist, no way. Just the good parts. Stage 3, the research phase. Now I'm betting that all of you went through this phase, all of you out there who have discovered that you have NPD. And this is where you spend hours, like me, researching, Googling, using AI to learn all about narcissists. Because if I'm going to be a narcissist, I'm going to be the best dang research narcissist there is, and the most knowledgeable one ever. Again, it's just funny to look back and see the slow seep of the realization and how the narcissistic brain and the narcissist traits take that and move from total denial to starting to understand that it may be true. The number 4 stage I like to call the oh crap moment. And that's where I started to recognize some of those narcissistic behaviors. Like, oh, maybe I am a narcissist. Like, going to a therapy session and thinking, I'm going to be the best at this. I'm going to be the therapist's best favorite client. Oh, wait. It's sort of like, realizing that somebody's sharing something really emotional with me and it's just not jiving with me. And all of a sudden I realize how I keep steering the conversation back to me, back to me, back to me. I don't even know how to not do that. Oh, crap. And number 5, the acceptance stage, with maybe a little touch of humor. So that's when I realized, okay, yes, I actually am a narcissist. I do have NPD, but that doesn't mean I'm bad or that I'm some kind of monster. It actually just makes me really predictable in some situations. And that was really, I know I shared those 5 stages, but stage 5 is really where you can start to actually make some changes in life in a way that makes life more enjoyable, more satisfying, more workable, less anxiety producing, and actually potentially have some really actually valuable, nice relationships. But it starts with that awareness, because noticing, even though noticing sort of sounds like a passive activity, it's actually very active, because it requires a lot of reflection in the moment and afterwards to start to really notice what's going on. And noticing is like over 50% of the work of any sort of behavioral change or thinking change, because you really have to notice significantly and thoroughly to be able to notice where those places are that the behaviors maybe aren't working, so you can start instituting change. You can think all the greatest changes in the world. Some of my other videos I talked about some of the ways that you can institute practices and behaviors and little exercises to help function better in this world of normies if you're a narcissist. But none of that really works until you really notice all those places and those interactions and those subtle moments where the narcissist behaviors arise reflexively, unconsciously at first, and you have to bring them into the conscious room with you. You can't have that live in the unconscious room anymore. And that's when you can really start to institute changes. So that recognition isn't about like beating yourself up, flogging yourself. It's really about understanding yourself so you can find ways to grow. Because no matter who we are as humans, one of the greatest things we can do, and one of the most sort of meaningful things we can do in life, is to constantly be undergoing change and growth. It doesn't end when we become adults. From childhood all the way through, growth, change, and constantly honing life to be more satisfying, more fulfilling, and better, so you can be happier and more satisfied and have more peace in your life. All right, hope that was helpful. Just a little quick 5 stages of recognition of narcissism. Maybe you can relate to some of those. Maybe it was different for you. Remember, subscribe, like, throw some comments below, questions, comments. Did you go through these 5 stages? What stage are you in? Which was the worst? Which was the best? Whatever strikes your fancy. I'd love to interact with you guys and have those conversations. All right, you take care. We'll see you next time.